like to mention Biden because he's not controlling anything.
Who do you think is pulling Biden's strings? Is it former Obama
people
officials?
that you've never heard of, people that are in the dark shadows, people that.
What does that mean? That sounds like conspiracy theory. Dark shadows.
No,
what is
people that you haven't heard of. They're people that are on the streets. They're people that are controlling the streets. We had somebody get on a plane from a certain city this weekend, and in the plane it was almost completely loaded with thugs wearing these dark uniforms, black uniforms with gear and this and that. They're on a plane.
Where's this?
I'll tell you sometime, but it's under investigation right now. But they came from a...
Hi, and welcome to the Podquest of Bread. My name is Henry Conley. Tonight, felt like I needed to lighten the mood a little bit and have a little fun with this one. And in the video you just saw an interview with Fox News and Laura Ingraham from last night with Donald Trump. Donald Trump seemingly promoting a QAnon conspiracy theory. And in the conspiracy theory, he decided to talk about, I guess, how us from Antifa headquarters, we decide to travel by aircraft. I guess we get group discounts when we buy the economy and the business class seating, and we travel by aircraft. All of us in uniform, in our pristine black uniforms, ready to go loot and burn down random cities. Because, well, this is the world we live in, 2020, with the President of the United States sharing amazing conspiracy theories for all of us to laugh and point at. But on a slightly serious note, I kind of want to just talk about a couple of things that he said in there. People in the dark shadows. So there is a thing to draw as far as a comparison or a correlation between that phrase and some of the things that he has said about Antifa, about anarchists, about leftists in general. The people in the dark shadows. He's setting this really creepy tone for what he views us in the streets protesting to be. The people controlling the narrative, the people that control us, obviously pointing towards, I guess, Soros and those Antifa bosses sitting on the top floor of Antifa headquarters while we're flying on Antifa Air. So people in the dark shadows and people controlling the streets. And according to Donald Trump, what he's trying to say here is that the people in the dark shadows and the people in the controlling the streets and that are in the streets are controlling Joe Biden. Of course, this is Donald Trump continuing to attempt to link Joe Biden to Antifa, Joe Biden to anarchists, Joe Biden to socialism, Joe Biden to communism, Joe Biden to leftists. And I'm going to state this really clearly. If Joe Biden was a leftist, if Joe Biden was an anarchist, if Joe Biden supported Antifa, if he was a socialist or a communist, recent polling wouldn't show him likely getting swept under the rug on election night. Recent polling wouldn't show him possibly losing massively on election night, and this is according to the most recent post from Axios and Bloomberg. If he was actually a socialist, if he was a leftist, if he was a communist, Antifa, anarchist, whatever Trump wants to link him to tonight, he'd probably be excelling in the polls. I mean, we wouldn't be forming a brand new party full of leftists, full of actual progressives. We'd be sitting there cheering because we finally got what we wanted out of the DNC. But this is just Trump continuing to link people. And then he goes into this conspiracy theory that apparently someone traveling from Washington State, I've also heard that it was someone traveling to Washington State. He's said two different theories in literally one last night, one this morning, was on a plane, and there were 5 or 6 normal people there. And then the rest of the plane was filled with these anarchists and agitators and Antifa and these people in black uniforms. Now, I mean, I understand he doesn't know what Antifa is. I understand he doesn't get that it's a decentralized organization. He doesn't get that it's a decentralized movement It's not an organization. There is no hierarchy. It is literally localized to the city it is existing within, the movements existing within. I get that he doesn't understand that. But what's even more disturbing about this, and even trying to lighten the air a little bit, what's more disturbing about this is that him not getting it is not necessarily dangerous to those who identify as anti-fascist. Him not getting it is not necessarily dangerous to those that identify as anarchists. Him not getting it is not necessarily dangerous to leftists. Who is actually dangerous to us is his followers who don't get it. His followers who won't understand that. See, when his followers listen to him say this, they think that he is the utmost authority on what Antifa is. They think he is the utmost authority on what an anarchist is. They think he is the utmost authority as to what a leftist is. His followers fail to understand that Democrats, the corporate Democrats, they are not leftists in any way, shape, or form. I've said it multiple times on this podcast. It's not the case. So this is just him yet again using conspiracy, using QAnon to scare his following, to scare his cult, to make them afraid of something else un-American, something else dangerous to the patriotic way of life, something else that makes them have to go and vote for him. Because if you don't vote for me, then that crazy Joe Biden, the guy who's controlled by Antifa, the guy who's controlled by the socialists and the anarchists and the agitators, he'll win. And if he wins, it's the end of our way of life. It's the end of the American way of life. If he wins, it's the end of everything we know. Kind of makes me wonder why people actually listen to him sometimes. What the psychology is behind it, beyond the fact of what it is to be ingrained and entrenched within a cult. Because even within that, there is a psychology to study the traumatization of a person that led him to this point, to believe that what these crazy theories are actually true. But I digress, because the comical thought of all of us leaving Antifa headquarters, hopping on Antifa Air, and heading from Washington to who knows where, in order for us to loot, it's a pretty funny idea. I have to ask, where are we going to hide the things we loot? Am I going to be walking through the airport on my way to TSA checkpoint in all of my black Antifa gear, my black Antifa uniform, getting ready to get back on Antifa Air and have to explain how I got two 55-inch flat screens hanging from below my arms and the Xbox 360 sitting in my the back of my backpack? How am I going to explain that to TSA when I'm trying to get on Antifa Air? You know, it also makes me question, if I'm getting on Antifa Air, how am I going to explain the Molotov cocktails that he's going to tell you that I have in my backpack? Or the cans of soup that I'm going to have in my backpack, because according to him, it's harder to throw a brick than it is a can of soup. And, well, I have to have cans of soup to throw at the police, because if I throw cans of soup at the police and they catch me, all I have to do is say, I'm just going to feed my family. Makes me wonder how I'm going to get all these things past TSA checkpoint to get onto Antifa Air in order for me to fly business class with all of my comrades who got a group deal on these great tickets through AntifaAir.com to fly to the next city upon which we are going to burn down and loot. This is a joke. But what's unfortunate is everything I just said references things that Donald Trump or Donald Trump Jr. and their family have said within the last day. Go check it out. Antifa headquarters and Antifa HQ has been trending all day on Twitter. With it, Antifa Air has been trending. Within that, today in Kenosha, Donald Trump talked about how anarchists and agitators and leftists throw cans of soup and not bricks, because it's hard to throw a brick because a brick is heavy. But a can of soup is light, and we can throw it, and we can inflict damage because there's momentum behind a can of soup. But then if we get caught by the police, we just claim that we're just going to feed our family. If you think these things sound preposterous, if you think I'm making these things up, by all means, go look on Twitter. I promise you, they are in the trending section of Twitter. Soup Nazi. That was one of the terms that was trending today. Antifa HQ was trending. Antifa Air was trending. Air Force One was trending because of who the actual thugs on aircraft are. It's fun to laugh about. It's fun to joke about, but it's actually also disturbing. But don't worry. Everyone that's going out for the Refuse Fascism stuff happening all over the country, I have a great contract set up with Campbell's and Progressive Soups. There's going to be 18-wheelers filled with soups, with cans of soup, parked in every single city, ready to go. Throw them soups. Throw them all over the place. And after you're done throwing them, if the cops come up to you, I'm just grabbing soup for my family because we're hungry. And this, to make it easier to get home, I have a nice contract set up with Antifa Air. And Antifa Air is providing free air service to everyone to get back to Antifa headquarters. So we can go talk to Bernie Sanders and we can talk to George Soros and get paid for our whole day of tough, busy Antifa business. Just wanted to lighten the mood tonight with this one and try and just have a little bit of fun. Tomorrow I will be back with yet another topic, and hopefully it won't be something that I have to make fun of all day. Until then, stay beautiful, humans. Eat soup, carry soup, fly Antifa Air, enjoy Antifa headquarters.